Hey YouTube, what's going on? Today we're going to show you egg candling. This is a pretty cool thing. These eggs were laid several weeks ago. What we're going to look for is to see if the veins have still stayed nice and developed further. At this point in time we may start seeing some movement from the embryos in there. So it'll be really neat to see. And it's going to be a spooky video shot in the dark. Like really, really dark. So hopefully it shows up pretty well. So come on over here, Kurt Camera Guy, and let's check it out. And you can see all this looks like a road map. That's what you want to see in your eggs. Good, healthy veins. And these are really large eggs. Sometimes we'll poke around here. Oh, I don't know if you're seeing on the camera or not, but that thing was moving in there. See that? You can't see all that changing? He's really wiggling.
Yeah.
So you got a good, live, healthy baby. See about this one here. Again, we have good veins. You don't all move every time we do this. And I probably do this a little more frequently than I really need to. So I think it's cool. There, you can see it moving. Good vein work. I'm not really seeing any movement in that one. Which if you don't freak out. That's a good healthy eggs with good veins. If it died, the veins would die. So I'm not worried about that at all. I think we already did that one, didn't we? A little bit of movement there.
If I'm new to breeding, what should I be looking for when I candle?
That's what I said. Veins and movement. You want to see those veins. The one with the hash mark is on top. We don't allow our eggs to roll. So once we pull them and place them, see movement there, we draw a mark on them just to make sure we don't roll. And these are all stuck together, so it's pretty easy. Sometimes they're not, and we separate them.
How often should I check my eggs once they've been laid?
There's an eyeball over here. You see a lot of movement. You know, really, I check them when I first put them in the tub. And then, you really shouldn't check them that often. I mean, if you're checking them once a week, that's more than enough. You can also, some people don't ever candle them at all. They put them in there, they made hair exchange, just open the top if they keep it really airtight about once a week, and that's about it. They really require minimum maintenance. Again, like I say, this is something that I do just because, that thing's moving at all, no. I think it's neat. That's the one that's moving the best. Just give me a second, we'll get to more questions and we'll do it in the light. Is that picking up very well?
It's moving on this side, so hold on. Go back to where you had the candle before, the flashlight before, further back. And from the angle that I'm standing at.
He's just gotten tired of moving, dear. Yep, there you go.
There he goes again.
Alright, that's enough of that. We'll let them settle in. We'll turn that light back on. We don't like keeping out of the heat too long. We box them back up, and again, we're still running the paralights we showed you. And you can see how moist it still is in there. You can see water standing over here. This isn't sinking in. The eggs aren't touching the actual substrate, and the humidity's staying really well. You're probably saying, but Matt, you don't have a humidity gauge in there. And you're right, I don't. I do have one on my other tub. I do maintain the humidity in there. And honestly, you can pretty much just... A lot of people say you've got to have the gauge, and the gauge is a good idea, especially if it's your first run around. But after you've been doing it a while, you can almost just judge it, by view. We do it that same way every time, and last year we had a 100% hatch rate. And I don't know we'll get that this year. I mean, that's pretty good. We're going to have a good hatch rate. I'm really not concerned with it. As long as you make that moisture level really high, you're going to be okay. And the eggs will tell you what they need if you just watch them. So, did you have any more questions, question girl?
How long does it take for them to be ready to hatch?
Well, you're going to be getting into a whole nother video we're going to do there. So, but typically you're looking at about 58 to 62 days. And then there's a whole debate on whether or not you just allow them to pip themselves or what else you do, and we'll talk about that in another video. So, any other questions?
What's pip?
Again, another video. We'll do an entire video on hatching. This is a video about eggs, not egg hatching. We'll do the hatching video when we hatch some eggs.
All right, you just showed candling.
Correct.
What type of tool did you use to candle?
Just a really bright pin light. And you can kind of see how bright that thing is. The brighter the better. They actually make special candling flashlights, but I haven't found that's needed. This is just a pretty cheap, bright little pin light from Wally World. Something that you want to shine a light through there in a dark room so you can kind of see all the way through. So, too big of a light and it just spreads it. I kind of like the direct pin light that I can press up against there and get all the light through the egg.
When you candle your eggs, do you have to candle all the eggs in the clutch, or can you just candle 1 or 2 in the clutch?
You want to candle them all because right from the moment they're laid, when you put that light up to them, you see those things light up like a globe. You should see those veins. They may not be as strong as what you just saw because those eggs are a little older, those veins have been developing. But you should see veins in a brand new egg that's just laid. If you don't have any veins in that egg, it's not fertile. It's a bad egg. You can toss it away, throw it away, get rid of that thing. If you ever get a slug, which will be smaller and kind of discolored, and you put a candle light to it, it just turns like a little light bulb. And there's no veins in it whatsoever, and it's no good. Now, on that, if you candle an egg, and you're like, man, I don't know if this egg is good or not, incubate it. I would much rather incubate a questionable egg and have to toss it out later than toss out a healthy egg. So when in doubt, incubate that thing. There's no reason not to. If you incubate a slug, it's not going to hurt anything. I mean, it may start to mold and go bad. At that point, you can toss it because the mold could spread. But the eggs themselves are pretty good about guarding against that. So if you're not sure, put it in the cooker. Any more questions?
Yeah, how long should your eggs be out when you're candling? Should it be like less than 5 minutes, less than 10?
As short as possible. I mean, I don't run a clock on it. I do my work, just like you could see here. I didn't really want to do a bunch of questions. I almost kind of cut you off. I want to do my work, and I want to put the eggs up. I want to keep them at their optimal temp, or as close to it as long as I can. And as long as I have that tub open and I'm screwing around in there, I'm losing heat and I'm losing humidity. So I want to seal it all back up and get it back in there. And that's the exact reason why a lot of people don't do this very often. Because you are, lowering the heat. Like right now, my eggs are 87 degrees when we incubated about 89.6 to 90. So they're a little cold right now. Now they'll warm right back up. That's not going to be a problem. But, if you have them out for a long time, it could cause issues. Any more? She's full of them today. See, I told you guys would miss her. I know we all did. Kurt doesn't say a whole lot. He's great at camera work. Yeah, but questions, he's like, I don't really want to ask you crap. But she loves doing it as a teacher in her. So what else you got for us today?
Do I need to worry about the Easter Bunny taking these?
If the Easter Bunny comes to take my eggs, I'm not going to say that. Well, it's a Python show. I'm sure I have something that would enjoy an Easter Bunny coming in here. We could probably handle that bunny and the eggs would be safe. It wouldn't work out so good for little hippity hop though. So bunnies and snake rooms don't mix. That's a bad combination. I think that's the end of her questions. So again, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, make sure and ask us. Don't forget to click the like, click the subscribe, and stay tuned because pretty soon you're going to see what's inside those eggs. And I hope you're as excited to see it as I am. Thanks, guys.